So you're going to kill the next 13 days with 100 practices.
Well, again, we have some good days for practice. We got to keep everybody healthy. We got to be careful. Got some guys nicked up, not hurt, but nicked up, and be smart as far as how long they practice and that type of thing. But it's some good days we have to work on some things, clean up little things that we've been making mistakes on, and that's always good, which is very unusual for this time of year.
Do you teach new things in this time as well?
Well, we can put some new things in. We want to do that. We did that today. A couple things offensively we wanted to work on, and a couple of nuances defensively. But again, you can't change everything, but we can slip some new things in here in the next few days.
Is a chance to see some maybe different lineups for scrimmages, test that out a bit
Yeah, we can do that, and we did do that out of necessity, out of more than anything else. With DeMar out, he didn't go today because watching his knee, so we had to do that. With CJ back, it was good to get him back. So it gives us an opportunity to do that.
Last week when we were talking about how much you guys are switching, you said you try to avoid Kyle and Fred onto a big guy, but it obviously happens. They seem to me to be pretty effective given their size. What makes them effective?
Eric, their toughness, and that's a good point. That's something we worked on today, is trying to avoid that at all costs. We call it a 9-1-1 switch, and there are certain things they have to do in that situation, and there's certain things their teammates have to do to help them.
Yeah.
And Kyle and Fred are two tough guys. They get in the big guy's knees, they sit down on it, and so that's what avoid. But again, if a guy's 7 foot and they're 6'2", 6'3", it doesn't matter. So we want to avoid that as much as possible, not put ourselves in that position or get tricked into that switch.
Are little guys or guards allowed to be maybe a bit more physical when that mismatch happens?
Well, you would think so. I know John Stockton used to get away with murder in there, but he should be. But again, you can't make it obvious where you're holding the guy or pushing him off his spot with your hands. But you can get away with a little bit more aggressiveness down there than normal.
Building off of that, at his position, at his size, what makes Kyle such a good rebounder?
Well, he's smart, he anticipates, and his competitiveness. Again, the other guy reminds me of is Gary Payton, where if a ball's in a scrum, Kyle's going to come out with it, or Gary Payton's going to come out with it. It's just something about those guys that have a nose and a knack for the 50-50 balls, and that's a huge skill to have. And Kyle's toughness, his competitiveness, his anticipation, all those help him in those situations. It's huge.
You guys must cringe a little bit every time he goes into the trees or take a
I
charge.
love it, because that means we were probably going to come out with the ball. Yeah. So, no, he's a tough kid. I mean, it's one of those things where the other guy's probably going to get hurt. I put my money on Kyle.
Is there any design to that? Like, are you kind of having your bigs focus first on taking their guy and having your...
Well, it happens, unfortunately, Michael, a lot of times off of switches. If Kyle's down there on a switch, which we don't want him to be, but if he does get down there, it puts him in that position to rebound. And we want to avoid that as much as possible, but it does happen, and that's where he does a good job of anticipating the shot, getting into his man, and coming up with the rebound.
You do get guards in transition if they rebound the ball. You get going more quickly on offense.
You do. There's no question, and that's another plus about it too. You do get sometimes you get an automatic mismatch, or where the guys are mismatched in transition, and you get that with us switching so much. And there's a lot of pluses out of it if you execute it the right way.
Is there any reason, apart from maybe the demands of your schedule, why you guys have been so inconsistent through this stage?
Inconsistent, I don't know what the reason is. Some of it's the schedule. We can put it on that. Most of it is us, Michael. There's no excuses for it, as far as us being up and down. Some of it is the newness, some of it youth. You can point at all of it, but again, at the end of the day, the schedule is what it is. We got to come out and perform, do our job. And that's what we challenged our guys in the second half against Atlanta. That was our biggest fear coming in the third quarter. Are we going to break that trend or habit? And again, it's something that's been going on for the last couple of years, 3 years. I don't know what it is that we're trying to break. But again, it is what it is. We got to continue to work on it, focus on it, talk about it. We've tried to change the lineup. That wasn't totally the answer. But again, we got to come out with more pace in the first quarter and also in the third quarter to break that trend. And again, we're looking at all aspects of it from an analytical standpoint and from a personnel standpoint.
Does that, when you say personnel and analytics, I mean, JV was a guy whose role fluctuated hugely the last 3-4 games. Is that going to continue, do you think?
The game in the Indiana game again.
Yeah, and New York, I guess, too.
In New York, I thought didn't he start the third quarter in New York? So it's only one game we did that. Again, we'll look at all whoever, whether it's Serge, JV. You know, it's not one guy that's the issue. It's all of us. It's coaches, it's players, it's all of us making sure we come out with the proper energy, proper focus to start the game, Michael, and start the third quarter. I mean, you know, if you find the answer to it, let us all know. But again, it's not from the lack of us going to try, whether it's changing the personnel, changing our offensive approach, defensive approach, whatever it is. I think everything's on the table.